In chapter 1, you have learned about nutrition in plants. Now, in chapter 2, you are going to learn about nutrition in animals. These are the main points we are going to learn from this lesson. Basic introduction, different ways of taking food, introduction of digestion in humans, the mouth and the buccal cavity, the food pipe or esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine, digestion in grass eating animals, feeding and digestion in amoeba. In chapter 1, you have already learned about nutrition in plants. What is the meaning of nutrition in plants? Plants are autotrophs. Autotrophs means they prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Do you know what is photosynthesis? Yes, photosynthesis means plants prepare food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Okay, fine. Now you know that plants prepare their own food. What about animals? Animals cannot prepare their own food. Then tell me, then from where do animals get food? Animals get their food from plants, either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that eat plants. Children, I will tell you one thing. Animals are generally classified into three groups: herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous. Some animals eat only plants. They are known as herbivorous animals. For example, cow, buffalo. Some animals eat the flesh of other animals. They are called carnivorous animals. For example, lion, tiger. But some animals eat both plants and animals. They are known as omnivorous animals. For example, human beings, rat, mice, etc. We all are living organisms. We all need to eat food. Why do we eat food? We need food for our growth, repair, and functioning of the body. You have already studied in 6th standard that food consists of many components such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, lipids, minerals, etc. Carbohydrates are complex substances that cannot be utilized as such. So, they are broken down into simpler substances. The breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances is called digestion. Now we are moving on to the next topic, different ways of taking food. Children, just look around us. We can see so many animals and birds, and just look at them, how they are eating their food. Are they eating in the same way? No. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. For example, bees and hummingbirds suck the nectar of plants. Infants of humans and young ones of many animals feed on mother's milk. Snakes like python swallow the animals they prey upon. Some aquatic animals filter tiny food particles floating nearby and feed upon them. From these pictures, you will understand the mode of taking food into the body in different organisms. Look at this diagram. This is the digestive system of human body, and you can also see the digestive organs of our body. First of all, we take in food through the mouth. The food passes through a continuous canal which begins at the buccal cavity and ends at the rectum. The canal can be divided into 6 compartments, that means 6 blocks. Number 1, buccal cavity, food pipe, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum. The food components get digested as food travels through the various compartments, the inner wall of the stomach and small intestine, and the various glands such as salivary glands, the liver and the pancreas secrete digestive juices. The digestive juices convert complex substances of food into simpler ones. The digestive tract and the associated glands together constitute the digestive system. Now let us learn about different parts of the digestive system. When we eat food, first of all, we keep food in the mouth. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. This process of taking food into the body is called the ingestion. We chew the food with the help of teeth and break into small pieces. Look at the diagram. You can see that we have different types of teeth. Yes, we have 4 different types of teeth. They are molars, premolars, canines, incisors, but their functions are also different. The function of molars and premolars is crushing and grinding the food. The function of incisors is biting and cutting the food. And last, the function of canines is piercing and tearing food. The next part of our digestive system is the food pipe or esophagus. From the mouth, where does food goes? The swallowed food passes into the food pipe. The food pipe runs along the neck and the chest. Food is pushed down by the movement of the wall of the food pipe. This movement takes place through the alimentary canal and pushes the food downwards. Now let us learn about the next very important part of our digestive system, the stomach. From the food pipe, food directly goes to the stomach. You just look at the diagram. The stomach is a thick walled bag. It receives food from the food pipe. The other end of the stomach opens into the small intestine. The inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices. And these 3 things are having their own special function. Let us see that what does mucus do. Mucus protects the lining of the stomach. And what about hydrochloric acid? When we eat food, along with the food, many microorganisms are also going inside our body. This hydrochloric acid kills the microorganism that enter along with the food. The last, digestive juices, what does it do? The digestive juice break down the protein into simpler substances. The next very important part of our digestive system is the small intestine. As the food leaves your stomach, little by little, it enters a long winding tube below it. It is called the small intestine. The last step of digestion takes place here. The small intestine is coiled and is about 7.5 meter long. It receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. Just see the diagram. Where is liver located and what is the color of the liver? Liver is reddish brown in color and is situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. It is the largest gland in the body. The secretion of liver is called bile and it is stored in our gallbladder. Bile plays an important role in the digestion of fat. The next gland is pancreas. Just see that where it is situated. And what is the color of pancreas? It is a cream colored gland that is situated just below the stomach. The pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats and proteins and change them into simpler forms. The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where the intestinal juices completes the digestion of food. And let us see what happened after the digestion of food. The digested food now passes into the blood vessels in the wall of small intestine. The inner walls of the small intestine, you can see that finger-like projections, and these projections are called villi, and it is having special function also. Let us see that villi increases the surface area for absorption of the digested food. The absorbed substances transported to different organs of the body through blood vessels. The undigested food enters into the large intestine. The next important part of our digestive system is large intestine. The food which is undigested remained in the small intestine directly goes into the large intestine. Large intestine is wider than small intestine and is about 1.5 meter in length. Just see the function of large intestine. The function of large intestine is to absorb water and some salt from the undigested food material. After that, the remaining waste passes into the rectum. Our next topic is digestion in grass-eating animals, otherwise ruminants. Ruminants are hoofed plant-eating animals that digest their food in 2 steps. Some examples are cows, buffaloes, goats, etc. They have complicated stomach consisting of 4 chambers. Have you observed cow, buffaloes and other grass-eating animals chewing continuously even when they are not eating? What is the reason for that? Because they quickly swallow the grass and store it in a part of the stomach called the rumen. Here the food gets partially digested and is called cud. But later the cud returns to the stomach in small lumps and the animals chews it. This process is called the rumination, and these animals are also called ruminants. The grass is rich in cellulose, means carbohydrate. Ruminants have a large sac-like structure called rumen that is between the esophagus and the small intestine. The cellulose of the food is digested here by the action of certain bacteria. The last topic of this lesson is feeding and digestion in amoeba. Living organisms are divided into 2 groups, unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms means bodies made up of single cell. Multicellular organisms means bodies made up of many cells. Here we are going to learn about amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism found in pond water. It has a cell membrane, nucleus and many small vacuoles in its cytoplasm. You just look at the diagram, you can see all these things. Amoeba has no definite shape. It is constantly changes its shape and position. It has finger-like projections. These projections are called pseudopodia, otherwise false feet. It is having their special function. The function of pseudopodia is for movement and capture of food. Amoeba feeds on some microscopic organism. The food becomes trapped in a food vacuole. Digestive juices are secreted into the food vacuole. They act on the food and break it down into simpler substances. Gradually, the food is absorbed. These absorbed substances are used for its growth, maintenance, and multiplication. The undigested food is expelled outside by the vacuole.